Alright YouTube, welcome back for another market analysis for the London session. Let's just kind of review S&P 500. Today we'll be doing S&P 500, gold and oil. Not really going to do too much of NASDAQ today, but we'll review those three charts for you guys. Take a look at what's been going on. Today we had a massive sell-off from right around these 40 areas, right? So we did peak at right around 59 to 60. That was our level of resistance, and you can see that we tried to test those 47s today, and we collapsed pretty much from there. So we are currently at a level of 31.55. We came all the way down to, what's that lowest point? 31.19.25, somewhere right around there, before we started to find some support. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're looking to see if we can hold this. You guys can see we have some levels of resistance. This first initial one being right at the 50 to 55, 50 to 55. I would say is the area where we have a slight peak, and slightly above that we have a level of 68. Yeah, I would say maybe about 68 to 70. Above that, you can see we're probably going to press through this level and then maybe attempt those 3200s and go to the upside, right? So we had some support. This level definitely will be a target area at one point if we gradually pull. So you can see we have more resistances than we do got supports. But what we're going to try to do during the London session is see where the market is going to be. Given that we have a lot of volatility, given the coronavirus, all that news going on, that is definitely making the markets shift to the downside at a rapid pace. So being able to capture some of this, caught a lot of points this morning on S&P 500 with the team. So looking to capture a little bit more during the London session. It was a good opportunity for the downside in the US session. If you know exactly what you're looking for, it makes it a little bit easier to trade that process. But for the London session, we're looking to see if we can hold that support 3120. If we hold this resistance here, we're definitely going to see some opportunity to take that back down. But we'll see what we get. Definitely going to have to kind of wait that out and see if we get an opportunity in there to try to take that trade. Alright, so if I zoom out of this just a little bit so you guys can see, want to pay attention to what's going on there. We're probably more than likely going to still see some upside movement. Given if you draw a slight trend line like that, you can see that there's a lot of opportunity to the upside. It could pull back though. Now if it breaks this actual trend line as it pulls back, then we got an opportunity to try to short right between maybe 50 to 53 to take that back down to 3120. Long-term wise, guys, you are still in a strong bearish trend. So you want to keep that bigger picture in mind as you're looking to trade. You don't want to try to deviate from that. You can have micro moves, which is basically what we're having right here, micro movement to the upside of the resistance, but the long-term trend doesn't change. Literally have to come back all the way above the 60s for it to try to attempt the upside of maybe right around 3320 and all that. So we're gonna have to see that happen. But we got a lot of movement to the upside in order for that to happen. So we'll see. We'll focus on that. We'll take a look at a 4-tick real quick so you guys can see what's going on. You guys see how that trend line comes the same exact way. We're holding some support right into the resistance area right now. So we want to kind of pay attention to what we're going to be looking at. Let me see, pull these. What we're going to be looking at for the London session on the trading for today. But it depends on if we're even at this level. Alright, if we are, then we're definitely going to see some opportunity to find some resistance and short it back into something like this. That could be a short-term move from 50s back into 40s, but once you collapse below that trend line, that could be a definite opportunity to the downside. So we want to pay attention to that and see if we get that opportunity to the downside. But that's what we got so far on the S&P 500. Levels are again going to still be the same thing as we saw prior. Got a lot of resistance between that 55 to right around 51, 52. So that's what we'll see. We'll see if we get some rotations. If we do get some rotations, again, you're probably going to look at something along the lines of hit this level, rotate, fail, let it try to come back down. If we break below this, we look for a slight pullback into the 51 to 53, and then we'll look to try to take that back down in the actual trend. So that's kind of what we'll be looking for as a trade idea on that. Let's take a look at gold real quick. Another place we had some downward movement today. We did gradually pull up on gold from right around those 51 to 52s back to the upside on gold, but from there we just literally started to collapse. So I'll show you guys here what we were looking at. Let's take a look at the session at hand. We gradually climbed back into all these 60s in this general area right here. From this area we gradually climbed, and there's the reason why, is because we were still in that movement to the upside. You guys can see still gradually pulling to the upside, and we finally broke and we continued back down into the downward trend. So what we're looking for is the same thing. We're at a level which could be a level of resistance. You can see this highlighted area right here. We're actually above it. So the reason we didn't put this as a red or a green is because it can do multiple things, right? It could trading is about what if statements, guys. That's really what it's about. You know, what if we hold this level with rotations? Then if we do, then we go up. Why? Because this is a prior peak. This was a prior resistance that impulsed lower, and we're looking for an outside move into the next resistance if we hold the support. Now, if we collapse back down, we're already below the level. What we would be looking at, we're looking for this level to try to hold as resistance, and then we'll start to shoot for the downside even more. Why do we think that's going to happen versus the movement down? Well, because S&P 500 does look like it has the potential to continue to climb up into the levels above, right? So I would anticipate maybe an opportunity to collapse lower on gold, given that we're breaking this actual trend line on this 10 tick, and we're breaking the actual structured level of resistance. Try to use that instead of support as resistance for a potential push down, right? You gotta let the price action confirm the level though, so definitely gonna have to wait that out, see if we get a pullback in a couple rotations. Then we'll look to short that at bare minimum into right around the 32s, and then a little bit lower to break a new low. That's what we'll try to do. Let's take a look at a 4 tick real quick so we can get a little bit of a better understanding of what's going on in this market, right? So this is where we're at. Let me see if I'm at the right area here. Studies, tools, plan. Oh, nope. See. Okay. So we're looking at the same thing, guys. You guys can see we're up above. If we were to adjust this just a little bit to make it match up to the actual trend, you can see there we held once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and we're back below. So again, we're going to want to look for something along the lines of, let's get that pullback, let's get that resistance, rotations, and let's get that short back down at minimum 32 to 34 right there, and then an attempt to break that downside for a new low. Alright, again, keep in mind, guys, we are in a bearish trend long term, so that's going to be another good opportunity if we can get that. Now, if we hold that support, then we can look for the upside of the resistance above, but seeing that we broke below it, this could be a better opportunity to the downside, given that S&P has some gradual climb back up. Let's take a look at also oil with you guys. You can see oil trying to pull up into our resistance right now, and if we break through that level, we got another resistance up above between maybe 51.50 and 51.60. You can see that level, that red level right there. But right now we're going to be looking to try to climb. Alright, we're going to try to climb right into that area. Now, it could do a lot of things, but this is going to be our level. We're waiting for price action. It could hit this level and it could collapse, right? Once it collapses below the actual trend line, give us an opportunity to come back up, and we could short that back down. Alright, now if we want to break this, what we're initially looking for is the markets to climb into this level, break through the level, and use it as support, and then we can get that next opportunity to the upside with some rotations and confirmations. But we're going to leave this arrow up there so we can see some actual structured ideas of trade. But for now, if you're trying to look, it looks like it's going to be trying to test that upside of 50.80. So if that's something you're looking to try to take, look for some confirmation. You can look for an entry somewhere right around here, 30 to 35, on that break up higher, or you can look for a pullback into this area here, which is probably going to be somewhere right around. Let me put a horizontal line. Where are you? Probably going to be right around 08. That's kind of a distance away though. But I'd say, yeah, between 29, 30, that might be a good opportunity. But if you want to be more conservative, you can wait on the downside somewhere around these areas, 08 to 17, 18. That's what you can try to do there. But let's take a look. But that's kind of where we're going to be at. I think we'll get that gradual push into those 50, 60s. We are still within this, still within this actual downtrend here. It is still a strong downward trend, and you see we're still below that gap. So we really want to go to the upside. We got to break above the gap, be above that area, and then start to push up higher. But we're still in a strong downtrend there. So keep in mind that this area was once a support and now can react as a resistance if the price action creates the rotations we want to see. So use that, try to get that resistance to push down, or we can break through it, get that support to push up. Let's take a look at a forward tick for you guys here real quick. Looking at what it actually looks like also on this forward tick. Let me see. In fact, I want to take this off real quick. The scroll bar, pointer tool. It's easier this way. There we go. Alright, so taking a closer look with you guys, you can see some slight support being held right here at the 29 to 30s. Alright, at the top of that peak, and a potential try to break through the upside, right? If we're going to try to throw some studies on this to analyze where we're at in markets, unhide these studies, and we'll take a look at what we're looking at, right? We have a micro move to the upside. Let me see if I can expand this thing just a little bit. Alright, okay. Alright, that's a little bit better, right? So we have a micro move to the upside right now, trying to draw into the resistance above. Now, it might feel a little bit risky because, well, you're trying to push up against all of this momentum that was pushing down. But if you get the moving averages underneath, you got a couple things also underneath. You have the open, point of control is underneath. You got a lot of things holding this up with an S1 right at the top. VWAP, we're going to maybe try to target that on oil. We'll see. We got to get those rotations to hold. You have 1, 2, 3, and this thing could dip. It could probably dip right between, what is this level? Actually, I could probably highlight it for you guys so you guys can see. Horizontal line, this level is going to be somewhere right around those 25s. You could probably dip into there. If it's not breaking that actual trend line, we'll look for the upside move to pop into that resistance of anywhere from 60 to 70, to as high as 80 where the VWAP is, right? So you can see how that all kind of falls in line. Let's take a look at the other studies that we have on the other charts here. Gold, same thing. If we throw up our charts here, look at what's going on in gold. You got everything kind of overhead right now, which could be leading to a potential opportunity to short. The VWAP is up overhead. We could be holding this resistance. We'll see if we get that round out. Point of control is overhead. You have that you have a value area up at the top right there. We kind of reached volume nodes right there, volume cluster. Couldn't break up higher from there. Broke that actual trend line. Could get the rotations we want to see, and if we get those rotations, we could be seeing some downside movement into the overnight low past this S1. So just kind of gauge what the market wants to do as the market comes into these levels and creates that price action movement with the structure. Right, we want to take that chaos that we're seeing, that randomness, and we want to make sense out of it. Right? So that's what we're trying to do. S&P 500, if we move some of these charts over, we'll take a look at what we're looking at right now in S&P. You can see how we're getting that gradual climb to the upside as expected as of right now. We are right at that resistance area right there. So if I were to kind of move these over, let me throw up some of these studies, unhide these studies right there. You can see the moving averages are underneath. We hit that S3 and we're kind of trying to gradually climb into the S2, 69, VWAP 78.47. So we got some opportunity. We're holding that trend line there. We're way above it. We could see a slight pullback into this area, but more than likely we might see a test of the upside resistances first, and then maybe a collapse back down to give a move into the actual trend direction. But that's what we got so far on these markets, guys. Again, we only did 3 for today: gold, S&P 500, and oil. Hope you guys liked it. If you guys did like it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you for everyone that has subscribed already. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in here. I'll answer them for you. If not, you can reach us here at TRADEPRO Academy. My email is david@tradeproacademy.com. You guys take care. Have a good night.